It was the year 1561. The Portuguese Viceroy of Goa, Constantino of Braganca, handed over the tooth of Buddha to the Archbishop of Goa. The King of Pegu, now called Myanmar, had offered him 50,000 pounds sterling as a ransom to save the tooth from destruction. But the Archbishop of Goa placed the tooth of Buddha in a mortar and crushed it to powder. The powder of the relic tooth was then burnt in charcoal, and after that, the burnt powder, along with the charcoal used in burning it, was thrown into the river Gomti. This was the account given by the Portuguese historian Diogo de Couto. The story of the tooth relic starts around 2500 years ago, when the body of Buddha was getting cremated after his Parinirvana in Kushinagar in the Gangetic plains of India. Khema, a Bhikkhuni and one of the two prime female disciples of Buddha, grabbed the lift of a canine tooth from the ashes. Dathavansha, or Chronicles of Tooth, written in the 310 AD in Sri Lanka, gives a detailed account of the long journey of the tooth after the cremation of Buddha. Khema handed over the tooth relic to the king Brahmadatta of Kalinga. The tooth was enshrined in a large temple in the capital city of Dantapura, now known as the holy city of Puri. Though Brahmadatta was a Hindu king, the relic tooth was worshipped by him and the successive kings of Kalinga for more than 800 years. The last Indian king to possess the relic tooth was the 4th century king Guhasiva of Kalinga. Guhasiva converted to Buddhism, and with the religious passion of a new convert, he started persecuting the followers of old gods. He expelled many of the priests and devotees of the old religion who found refuge in the city of Patliputra. They complained and instigated the Emperor Pandu against King Guhasiva, who was a tributary king of the emperor. In anger, Pandu ordered his subordinate king, Chaityana, to march to Kalinga and bring to him the king Guhasiva along with the tooth relic that he worshipped day and night. King Chaityana marched to Dantapura with a large army. But instead, he converted to Buddhism along with his army after witnessing the miracles of the tooth. However, the order of the emperor was to be followed, and so he returned to Patliputra along with King Guhasiva and the relic tooth. The Emperor Pandu was now even angrier with the conversion of Chaityana and his army to Buddhism. In anger, Pandu ordered the tooth of Buddha to be destroyed by burning in fire. The tooth was thrown in a large pit filled with burning charcoal. But there was a miracle, and a large lotus appeared above the flames, and the tooth ascended into the lotus and started to emit bright light in every direction. Having failed in destroying the tooth, he tried to dishonor the tooth by throwing it in a filthy ditch filled with rotting bodies. But the dirty ditch converted into a clear pond the moment it was touched by the relic. Now he ordered the tooth to be smashed with a hammer, but even a hammer could not destroy the tooth. Amazed by the miracles of the relic, Emperor Pandu converted to Buddhism, and he enshrined the relic in a large temple built for the tooth in Patliputra. Later, Patliputra was attacked by King Khiradhara from the north of India, as he wanted to take possession of the relic, but he was defeated by King Pandu and was killed in the war. Emperor Pandu returned the tooth to its original home at the Temple of Tooth in the city of Dantapura in Kalinga. The wars for the tooth had just started. The successors of King Khiradhara fled to the forest, but soon gathered a large army to take revenge. On learning that the relic had been returned to Kalinga, they marched to Dantapura. They asked King Guhasiva to either hand over the relic to them or face the war. Guhasiva realized the threat to the relic. He requested his daughter Hemamala and his son-in-law Dantakumar to take the custody of the relic tooth. He asked them to take the relic to the island of Lanka and hand it over to King Mahasena, who was an old friend and a devoted Buddhist. The royal couple smuggled the relic to Sri Lanka, disguised as Brahmin ascetics. The relic was hidden safely in the hair of the princess. After ensuring the safety of the relic, King Guhasiva went to the war, but was killed by the invading army. The royal couple reached the ancient port city of Lankapatnam in the Trincomalee district of Sri Lanka. Finally, they reached the capital city of Anuradhapura. But by the time Danta Kumar and Hemamala reached Anuradhapura, King Mahasena had passed away. His son, King Kirti Sri Meghavana, was the new king of the island. He received the relic with the most reverence and enshrined the relic at a temple called Dhammachakka Geha within the royal complex. Abhayagiri Vihara was the first custodian of the tooth relic after it arrived in Sri Lanka. Chinese traveler and monk Faxian, who lived for some time in the Abhayagiri monastery during the 5th century, has given a detailed account of the worship and rituals connected with the tooth relic. Gradually, a belief developed that whoever possessed the tooth relic had a divine right to rule the land. The relic was guarded fiercely by the kings, and they built the tooth relic temples very close to the royal residences. The relic remained in Anuradhapura and was worshipped by the kings until King Vijayabahu moved the capital to Polonnaruwa in the 11th century. A new threat to the relic emerged in the form of King Chandrabhanu of Java, who invaded Sri Lanka in 1247 and demanded to hand over the tooth relic to him. But he was defeated by King Parakrambahu II, and the relic remained safe. In 1272, King Bhuvanek Bahu transferred the capital to Yapahua because of the threats of Dravidian invasions from South India, and the tooth relic was shifted to a new temple. The fort of Yapahua was built around a huge granite rock, rising abruptly almost 100 meters above the surrounding lowland. Following the death of King Bhuvanek Bahu in 1284, the Pandyas of South India invaded Sri Lanka, and they were successful in capturing tooth relic. Following the capture of the tooth relic and the city, Yapahua was abandoned. But it was not lost for a long time and was recovered in 1288 by King Parakrambahu III. The most serious challenge to the relic in its history of over 2500 years came in the year 1560 when the invading Portuguese forces based in Goa in India raided the town of Jaffnapatnam in Sri Lanka. They looted the temples and stupas and burned the towns and monasteries. One of the items they stole was a reliquary containing the tooth of Buddha. The Buddhist world was in complete shock over this unfortunate development. The King of Pegu, now called Myanmar, offered Constantino of Braganca, the Viceroy of Goa, 50,000 pounds sterling and shiploads of rice for the Portuguese garrison stationed at Malacca as a ransom to save the tooth relic from destruction. This was a huge amount of money at the time. The Viceroy was willing to accept the ransom and return the tooth. He felt it would help with the depleting resources of the state. The Portuguese historian Diogo de Couto gives a detailed account of what happened next. The Viceroy returned to Goa along with the tooth relic mounted in gold. A team of royal representatives from the King of Myanmar reached Goa for the negotiations on the ransom amount. But somehow, this news of ongoing negotiation reached the Archbishop of Goa. He declined to permit the release of pagan relics as he considered them to be the bone of the devil. The Viceroy convened an assembly of the Archbishop, heads of the religious orders, government officials, and other noblemen. It was decided that the relic will not be released, as the surrender of the relic would be an insult to God. The decision was taken to destroy the tooth of Buddha to set an example for the pagans. In front of a large crowd of native people, including the ambassador from Pegu, the Viceroy handed the tooth of Buddha to the Archbishop of Goa. The Archbishop placed the tooth in a mortar and crushed it to powder. The powder of the relic tooth was then burnt in charcoal. And after that, the burnt powder, along with the charcoal, was thrown into the river Gomti, now called Mandovi River. However, this is not the only account of the event. The native sources give a detailed counter account of how it was hidden at several places during the Portuguese invasions. There is another version of the event. As the local legend goes, the Archbishop was not able to destroy the relic. As the moment he tried to destroy it, the tooth reappeared in a lotus flower safely in Sri Lanka at the Temple of the Tooth. There is yet another version, which says that the tooth destroyed in Goa was only a replica of the original tooth. While during this entire time, the original relic was kept hidden at different places in Sri Lanka. The tooth relic was kept in hiding during the periods of Portuguese invasions. It was brought back to Kandy half century later. The current Temple of the Tooth, or Dalada Maligawa, was built in the early 18th century. The tooth was again under threat when the island was captured by the British in 1815. Buddhist monks, afraid of the new invaders, hid the tooth relic in a safe location. But to the surprise of the monks, Robert Browning, the British governor of Sri Lanka, was keen to conserve and protect the relic and respected the religion of the native population. The relic was returned to its rightful and legitimate location at the Temple of the Tooth in Kandy. The attempts to destroy the tooth relic did not stop and continued even after the independence of Sri Lanka in 1948. In 1998, at the peak of conflict between the Sri Lankan government and Tamil rebels, there was a terrorist attack on the temple by LTTE. 3 suicide bombers attacked the Temple of the Tooth, killing 11 people. This attack destroyed the front side of the palace, but there was no damage to the core part of the temple or to the tooth relic. Today, the Temple of the Tooth in Kandy remains one of the most important places of pilgrimage for Buddhists around the world and is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is world famous for the Isala Perahera festival. During the 4th century, King Guhasiva of Kalinga ensured that the relic reaches the island of Lanka, as he believed there it will remain safe for the well-being of humankind. The tooth of Buddha remains not only the object of worship, but also an object of inspiration for millions who believe in Buddha and his Dhamma. If you found value in this video, please give it a thumbs up. We are constantly coming out with new videos on the life of Buddha and the Buddhist heritage. If the information provided by the video was useful, please subscribe to the channel for similar informative videos on Buddhism. Please share your thoughts on the tooth relic of Buddha in the comment section below.